Hello, what nuts, Humpty Dump nuts, and suck me up nuts. It's Chaos presented by Prize Picks on Monday, April 29th. US. I am DJ. That is Pete. That is Sean. Ready for another full week. 5 episodes plus streams. We come at you a minute early on Wednesdays, but you already know that. Hi, boys.
Hello. Nice little weekend of hockey, huh?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of praise for being on time for once.
Wednesdays, we're always on time.
Yeah.
No, Wednesdays we're early.
Right, Wednesdays.
We're never on time. We're later, we're early. We're never on time.
The hosts knew a lot about being on time, which is rare for this kind of sports podcast.
It's true.
Well, I'll tell you who's late is the Washington Capitals because they're dead. When people call you late, they talk shit about you when you die. They say that you're always late.
That's true. That's a good point. Although, like they lived way longer than we ever expected them to. The Capitals' death is one of those deaths where you say, "I'm not too sad. They had a good life, a lot of good years."
Did this Capitals team have a good life?
I mean, they lived far beyond their life expectancy.
Yeah, but I'm sure a lot of people who live far beyond their life expectancy are like, kind of thought it would be done by now.
It's true. And they were like in hospice care for a little bit. So what I'm saying is, like, for Caps fans, I'm sure that a lot of Caps fans, and we'll hear from some later in the show, I'm sure some Caps fans are just like, thank God, like they were suffering.
Yeah, are Caps fans going to do the could have had a lottery pick? What the hell? Could have moved up, which they only would have moved up. You can only move up 10 spots now?
Yeah. Who cares?
You're not getting Celebrini. Guys, come on. Ovechkin was good, though, at least.
It's huge.
Went out swinging.
That's right. First time in his career. 0.
Swinging and missing.
Swing. Yeah, you can swing. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to connect. Scoreless for the first time ever in a playoff series for Alexander Ovechkin.
What were some of the Alexander Ovechkin puns that were thrown out there?
There was Alex Ovech can't score. I had Alexander Oval's skin because it's the zeros are ovals.
Oh.
So 0 goals, 0 assists. The one wasn't great.
Catherine Dupree in the chat, or Dupuis. Sorry if I mispronounced that in the chat. Said grade 8. More like grade 8 contender.
Grade 8 contender. That's pretty good. Nice.
I had the best one.
What did you have?
Alexander O'Munchkin.
Oh, Munchkin?
Yeah, you know what a munchkin is?
It's a little
It's
circle.
A donut.
Yeah, it's true. All right, yeah, fair. That's kind of what I was going for, but with Oval's skin. But
well, that's about as interesting, I would say, as the Capitals got. But they're extremely dead, and the Rangers swept them, which I was going to say no one's surprised by that, but there were some idiots. I was partially one of them. Sean was heavily one of them. That was like, NHL playoffs, anything can happen. This Rangers team isn't super duper established. This series, I said last week, I was like, I've watched every game so far. That's like the one series where I had like 3/4 of an eye on it.
Even as somebody who thought that like the Capitals didn't stand a chance in the playoffs, I didn't think that it was going to look as bad as it ended up looking because like you look at the things that got them into the playoffs were they got really good goaltending down the stretch. Their special teams turned it around, and Ovechkin got hot. What happened in the playoffs? Ovechkin had 0 fucking points. They got smoked on special teams. The Rangers had as many shorthanded goals as the Capitals had power play goals in that series. I think the Rangers had like 6 or 7 power play goals in 4 games. So smoked on special teams, and Charlie Lindgren had like an .864 save percentage. So literally everything that got them into the playoffs was like flipped on its head. And they weren't that bad at 5-on-5 during the series. It wasn't interesting, but they weren't that bad. They just clearly didn't belong.
All right. Well, now we get the Rangers actually in a position where they'll be able to have some real competition once that happens. And we'll talk about a little later about how Vegas feels about this. Vegas already wants this all over. Vegas is already planning like actually not the Rangers parade.
Can you because all right, so the Vegas is already has posted odds for Carolina versus the Rangers, and that's funny because Carolina's series is not over yet, and it's also funny because Carolina is the favorite, even though they're not even officially in the second round.
Sean's making faces, which, by the way, yes, Chad, nice of Sean to show up.
Yeah, no, I deserve that.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Maybe I deserve that because I was disappointed in myself. I was like, I'm locked in for these playoffs, and I missed the 30-second overtime yesterday. I was just making a face because the Carolina series is over.
Yeah, it's definitely over, but like Vegas putting them as favorites already, that's questionable behavior.
That's what Vegas does, though. Like, Vegas is smarter than all of us. So if they're saying something, I'm not looking at it being like, that's questionable behavior. I'm looking at it being like, okay, the series is over.
As somebody who doesn't know the answer to this question, like, what happens if you bet on Carolina to win that series and then Carolina doesn't make it through?
The bets will just get voided.
It's voided? Okay.
I was gonna say it's voided, but also it would be very funny. And no sports book would do this now because they're all about like
competition,
stay with us, be with us, and everything. But it'd be funny if they were like, they did not win that series.
Yeah, I really do think
they didn't lose it, but they did not win it. You bet on them to win it.
I really do think that if you place a bet on a team to win a series that they're not even officially in yet, you deserve to lose that money if they don't get in.
I mean, yeah, that's a whole other conversation. I think I might agree with you.
That's why
I'm so anti like sports bets books refunding when players get hurt or some shit like that. Like, you know how, because like the competition thing, there are so many sports books that are vying for your business now. Like the forgiveness that happens in some sports books is pretty fucking lame. Like if somebody gets hurt in the first quarter or first period of a game and you lose your player prop, you shouldn't get that refunded. You bet on somebody who got hurt. That's fucking sports. Yeah, that's part of the gamble.
You're doing the, I don't think that, I wouldn't expect you to do this. You're doing the old school gambler
people
take
who
of
gambled
like,
before it got legal.
Exactly right. The people who gambled before it got legal have exactly that take.
There wasn't any insurance when I was betting in offshore accounts.
Exactly. All that shit. We're the ones that are fucking benefiting from all this shit. I mean,
we're definitely benefiting.
That like us, the new bettors, would be like, pretty nice. We're getting some calls. Well, I never get calls.
I think that we have to honor the integrity of sports betting.
There's a lot of integrity in that, I would say.
For sure.
Generally. I'll tell you what, I had the night of my, or day of my life, I guess, on Saturday, doing crazy parlays, heat checks. Everything was fucking hitting.
Yeah, you had some crazy parlays hit.
And just straight up Kristaps Porzingis hitting a 3 to open the scoring.
Dude, first bucket bets are the most electric thing ever. You can play some 30 seconds before the game starts, and it's over 30 seconds later.
The only thing that you can't do is do a parlay with that, because then your parlay gets fucked.
Only time I've ever
that's some uncut gems behavior. That's some like betting the tip.
Only time I've ever bet on a first bucket was if you remember the fuck Jay Crowder game when Jay Crowder was on the Suns, and I was like, this motherfucker's hitting a 3 to start this game. Sure enough, he did it. It's the only time I've ever done a first bucket bet.
You must have loved Jay Crowder on the Suns.
Yeah, until he left, and then I hated him because he was a little bit of an asshole. But
yeah, I was gonna say he probably got a bit like annoying.
Yeah, but I did like him on the Suns.
Last note on the Capitals series. I got into a bit of a spat like a month or so ago with our friend of the podcast, PFT Commenter. I said the Caps suck. They don't belong in the playoffs. They don't do anything well. And he basically told me to shut the fuck up and that they were riding the high of the Caps run. And so I wanted to get PFT on the show today to discuss the downfall of the Caps. He couldn't make it, but he did send a statement for us and for anybody else who might be interested. And he said, I'm sorry. I would like to personally apologize for the Caps' performance. Everyone that said the Caps were dog shit, everyone said that the Caps were dog shit, and they were correct. Also, the Caps should get credit for the Rangers turnaround because they wouldn't have this team without Tom Wilson's horrific act of violence. You're welcome, New York.
Okay, that's a pretty good statement. And it's a great pick of PFT from that commercial. Who could forget it?
That's right.
It's a good commercial.
Yeah.
No one can actually tolerate.
Speaking of commercials and sponsorships, today's episode or today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks, presented by Prize Picks.
I already said that.
Did you? Good for you. I missed it. I blacked out.
Okay. The thing with the Capitals, and PFT would have been good to answer this, is the NHL onto something with allowing just like having one terrible team in the playoffs? I thought that was a fun wrinkle this year because there's usually not a team that you were like, holy shit, food was the term that kept getting thrown around on this podcast where you're like, that shouldn't be there. In the NBA, you'll get a lot of like 1-8, 2-7 type matchups where you're like, all right, obviously this team's going to steamroll that team. But rarely is there a team that is actually horrible.
They're not
like
horrible.
The idea,
they're very mid.
Who, the Capitals?
Yeah, they're not horrible.
Capitals are bad. They weren't mid. They were bad.
They were like the lower end of mid. Yeah.
I like I like that trick though of letting in, like, what if, I don't know, in the NFL this next coming year, they're like, no matter what happens, Cardinals make the playoffs.
You know what it is? It's like when there's like the Olympics or the NFL Combine, people always say throw an average Joe in there to see how much more impressive it is that these athletes are like freaks and like so good at what they do. That the Capitals provided like the standard, like this is what a beer league team would look like if they were in the NHL playoffs. So that's kind of the comparison.
Well, from one series ending to potentially another, the Leafs get rocked in Game 4. Game 5 is on Tuesday, back in Boston. Let's bring in the great Sean McIndoe. Down goes Brown everywhere. Guy's a legend. We've never spoken before, Sean. Very nice to meet you.
Hey, good to meet you too.
Nice team you got there.
Yeah, I'm thrilled, man. You can feel the energy.
The excitement's great. Are you at Maple Leaf Square right now?
Yeah. I'm in the middle of the crowd. It was the quietest place I could find to do this recording. So.
Oh God.
You had a good column over the weekend after that Game 4 loss, basically just saying, you know, you can recycle all the Leafs narratives you want, but like maybe at the end of the day, this team just like isn't that good. And like a few days to process it. Is that where you're landing at this point?
It's kind of where I've been for a little while. And look, first of all, I'm not saying that if part of the story here is they're just not as good as we think, that means that none of the rest of it matters or none of the rest of it can be true too. You can still have the they don't want it bad enough. They don't have the heart. They don't have whatever narratives you want to throw at it. Go ahead. But I've just been looking at this, and this has been for a few years now, where year after year, this team, they come out, they have a good regular season, but it's a good regular season. How many President's Trophies have they won? How many times have they gotten close? They usually finish second, third in their own division. Kind of in that middle of the pack of the top 10 teams. This year, they weren't even that. They finished 10th in the NHL. A team that finishes 10th in the NHL, losing the first round of the playoffs, is not a shocking result. And, I think that part of the issue with the perception of this team is maybe we've just been pumping them up so much over the years, and maybe too much. And I get that people are going to kind of roll their eyes and go, yeah, well, that's Leafs fans. That's the Leafs media, right? There's no team in the league that gets more attention. And yeah, granted, Leaf fans tend to overrate their own team. That's sports. That's every fan base in every sport. And maybe the media plays into that. But I also think some of it has come from the other side of it, where it's just more fun to knock these guys down over the playoff thing if we pretend like they're a juggernaut that should never be losing. And the reality is, you go back year after year after year, other than Montreal, you could make a case that the Leafs weren't the best team going into any of those series. Forget about how they played when they got there. They haven't had home ice in the vast majority of the series. And even in the ones where they have, they've been facing a team like a Tampa that was a 3-time conference champ. Maybe what we are seeing here, in addition to maybe some of the other stuff, is just a team that is a slight underdog losing, which is what slight underdogs are supposed to do.
Yeah, I think that with sports commentary, it's always easier to ascribe intangible things because we can't fucking skate. We can try though. So we say they must not be trying, things like that. I never buy any of that shit because I think that I think that they all want it. The only intangible area that I think fucks them is they're stupid. And that actually, I think it like really is a real thing. I just wrote down the last 2 minutes. Benoit puck over the glass in game 3. Samsonov on the Frederick goal in game 3. Keith keeping the same guys out there when Boston changed after the Bertuzzi goal in game 3. Tavares penalty at the end of game 3. Nylander holding penalty in a 2-goal game when you're finally sustaining pressure at the end of game 4.
And that doesn't even mention the word Max Domi.
Yeah, like Max Domi, I kind of he's trying to do something that he doesn't do as well as the best player in the world at doing it. So he's at least fucking trying, but you could also lump him in there. Is it just more like the DNA is stupid than the DNA doesn't want it bad?
I mean, yeah, I'm with you on that point. I would reject the idea that they don't want it bad enough. I mean, you look at Mitch Marner, a guy that he's the lightning rod in this series. He's the guy that it's all getting dumped on. I mean, he is getting absolutely savaged from all corners, Toronto and elsewhere. And we've seen this building up for years and years and years. I've been watching Mitch Marner in the playoffs. At least once a series, this poor guy looks like he's going to cry on the ice. Okay. And I don't mean that as a knock, as to diminish him. He clearly wants it so badly that he doesn't handle it well when the adversity comes and he's not getting what he's looking for. And these other guys, I mean, look, they're yelling at each other on the benches. People are making that up to be a big deal. Good. I'm glad they're yelling at each other. I'd rather see them yell than just staring off in the middle of the distance like we sometimes see with them. So they want it. I just don't think they know how to translate I want it into here's what I need to do to make it happen. I do think that there's a difference between wanting it and knowing what level you have to get to effort-wise. In the playoffs where it's all more physical and every inch of ice is contested. But yeah, the stuff that you talk about, the stupid stuff, let's just say it. This is not a well-coached team. Not in the playoffs, at least. And, that's another part of it. I talk about them being maybe not as good as we think. They've been out-coached in pretty much all these series. Sheldon Keefe got out-coached by Dominic Ducharme. Like, do you even remember that guy? When was the last time you even thought of him? And he coached rings around Sheldon Keefe. And I get that, look, it's Toronto, and there's a certain element where you want some stability. But that change is going to happen unless something really radical happens in the last 3 games of this series. They don't. You're right. I mean, the mistake, the bad play, the overplay, the hit when you shouldn't throw the hit, passing up the hit when it's right there. It always seems to happen with this team. But you know what? There's a lot of mistakes that happen in the playoffs. And when you make mistakes and your team wins, it all gets forgotten. This team just never wins. So
Jeremy Swayman made bad mistakes in game 1. And who fucking cares about that?
Yeah.
He played a good game and the Bruins won, and then you move on.
I mean, this might be a stupid question based off of everything we've already discussed, but like, is there any hope for Toronto? Like, what is the temperature? I know like things aren't going well, but we've discussed like that team has been stupid. What if they stop being stupid? And famously, the Bruins, last time they had a 3-1 series lead, didn't end well for them. So is there any sort of hope?
Peter, I think you're being stupid by thinking they're going to stop being stupid.
Probably.
I mean, is there any? I will say that obviously the feeling in Toronto and among Leaf fans is extraordinarily negative right now. I don't think you talk about fan bases are always overly optimistic. I don't think that's the case. But is there hope? Yeah, and I'll leave Leaf fans with this. Now that I've kicked the team when they're down and all of this, there is a very lazy narrative that gets trotted out in sports a lot, especially with this Maple Leafs team, where people say when the going gets tough, they fold. And I can tell you, when it's the Toronto Maple Leafs, the opposite has been true.
Mm-hmm.
This era, it's when the going gets tough, that is when suddenly they flip a switch, and you see it at a micro level in individual games. They're terrible. They're down 3-0, and then suddenly you blink and it's 3-3 again. because they flip the switch and they come back. Remember when they're playing Columbus and they're facing elimination and they're down 3-0 and there's 4 minutes left and everyone's already written the obituaries, and they turn it around and they win that game in overtime. They did it against Tampa last year, right? They had the big comeback win.
Even Marner in game 4. Marner
Yeah.
scores a sick goal after having 2 of the worst periods that you can see.
It just keeps happening every time everyone's down on this team. The Morgan Riley thing this year, he gets suspended. Everybody's talking, look at the Leafs, they're getting all upset over an empty net, and they run off 5 wins in a row. As soon as you count this team out, that's when they play well. The problem is it's the exact opposite. It's as soon as things are going good, they can't wait to pat themselves on the back, hang the big mission accomplished banner in the background, and then that's when it all falls apart. I mean, this team famously lost to a Zamboni driver. Well, when that happened, everybody was like, and if you remember, it was right before the trade deadline. Everybody's like, break up the team. Forget it. Don't bring in any reinforcement. Get rid of everybody. And then they went into Tampa, which was in the middle of having a 60-win season, and they beat the Lightning, that team that's supposed to be unbeatable at home. They keep doing it. So it would be extraordinarily on brand for this team right now, when we're all counting them out. Everybody's already written the stories about how it's all going to get blown up, to go out, play their best game of the season in game 5, probably come home, play another great game in game 6, bring it to 7, and then probably go out and lay an egg, because they would have won 2 games in a row. What do you want them to do? Try hard for 3 in a row? You can't do that. So, that would be more on brand than going quietly and just, letting us at least have a quick, painless, fast series for a change.
I'm so glad you finished that thought, because prosperity is really that's been their enemy more than anything. It is when things are going well. Even the Nylander holding penalty in game 4.
Yeah.
It's all right, you're finally pushing. You're finally having sustained pressure. You're scoring goals. It looks like Swayman looks like he actually has to do a lot of work right now.
How do we ruin
mind.
it?
How do we torpedo it in the offensive zone? My thing, I'm sure, like any hockey fan, a dumb offensive zone penalty fucking infuriates me. And if I were a coach, I would lose my mind over it. But the Leafs have a coach already that is making me lose my mind. So it goes straight to the top. Pete wanted to discuss potentially, do they blow it up? You mentioned Keefe probably goes, but who else could go? Marner's entering the last year of his deal. Tavares is entering the last year of his deal. Defense sucks balls. Goaltending sucks balls. What do you do about that sucking?
Well, I mean, it'd be nice to focus on the goaltending for once and not try to do the bargain bin, but they don't have a ton of cap room to address that. You talk about what does blowing it up look like? Let's go to the very top with Brendan Shanahan, who is in a situation where I think there's a pretty solid chance that if this series goes the way it looks like it's going to go, that you could see a change there. And I say that as I got a lot of time for Brendan Shanahan. I think he came into an absolute mess, and I think he's done far more good than bad for this team. And I think, if anything, his fatal flaw, if this is it, is going to be that he was too loyal and too believed too much in the group that he had put together. But the thing that you got to remember, you got to know if you're outside of Toronto, is there's a new boss at Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. They've hired a new CEO, and this guy apparently who's coming in is someone who sometimes likes to be a little bit hands-on. So it is very possible that he will say we're blowing this thing up from the very top. And if Brendan Shanahan is gone, Brad Treliving, who knows? Even though it's only been 1 year, somebody new might want their own guy. Sheldon Keefe, you can't imagine a situation where he would stay. And then, it becomes, what do you do with the players? Because these guys, they all make a lot of money. William Nylander and Auston Matthews are signed long-term. John Tavares has got 1 year left. Could you try to push him out the door? You probably could, but that's going to be an ugly situation. Mitch Marner is the one that a lot of the focus is going to be on, but he's got a no move clause. And if he's a local kid, and if he decides he doesn't want to go anywhere, who knows where that goes next? And he needs the extension. Could you see the team let him walk out the door, or are they going to do what they've done time and time again over the years, which is talk a good game and then eventually fold and give the guy every penny that he could wish for? It's tough. This is the NHL. It's not a Toronto thing. This is a hard cap league where lots of guys have long deals and no trades and all this stuff. It's a league that's almost designed to be hard for teams to make big brave moves. But as I wrote last year, as they were in the middle of losing the Florida Panthers, look at what the Panthers did after a President's Trophy season where they won a round of the playoffs. It wasn't good enough. And they went out and they got Matthew Tkachuk and they changed coaches and they did all this other. Like, it is possible. It's a philosophy, but it is possible to say good enough isn't good enough. The Leafs have refused to make that choice for years and years and years. And now it looks like they're probably going to have it made for them by some new blood at the top of the chain, potentially all the way up to the very top.
Let me ask you this question. Me and DJ has kicked around the idea of a Seth Jones trade. As a Leafs fan, what would your appetite be for like a Seth Jones for Mitch Marner, the bones of that kind of swap?
Not bad, huh?
I'd have to look at the contract situation. The
money's
Seth
similar.
Jones isn't one that excites me a ton, even though he's been better the last few years in Chicago. I know someone else floated. Clayton Keller was another one, and obviously, look,
if you are the former Coyotes, I hang up the phone so fucking fast if that trade is proposed to me.
Why you got to do that to me, man?
I fucking punt the phone a mile.
I hang up the phone so fast.
I die taking the phone into water to drown it. And I electrocute myself to death.
I'm going to put you guys down as a maybe on that one. And we'll... yeah, I mean, it's going to be something like that, or maybe it's draft picks or whatever. But again, he's got the no move clause. Maybe Mitch Marner goes, I don't want to go to Chicago and miss the playoffs for a couple of years. Maybe Mitch Marner goes, I wouldn't mind missing the playoffs for a couple of years.
For real, that should be
go play next to Connor Bedard. There's worse places you could land. Yeah. I mean, I wonder, the Leafs also, in addition to all the issues on the roster, they've got the cupboard's pretty bare in terms of prospects. They've got no picks next year. I mean, this year they've got a few, but they've got nothing next year. They've already traded their 2025 draft. So, maybe it ends up being a picks and prospects deal, but who's out there lining up for a guy who makes $11 million, doesn't really live up to that number now, and God knows what number he's going to go into negotiations expecting, knowing some of the people around him and what they might tell him to be asking for. So there's going to be some teams that say, I don't want any part of that, which is crazy because we're still, for all the flaws and for all we're talking about a guy who puts up 95 points a year. Boy, you'd think there'd be a lineup, but
so that's what I was going to say. We have begun talking about Mitch Marner as though this is a Milan Lucic for James Neal, bad contract for bad contract kind of thing.
Yeah.
No disrespect to those guys. Mitch Marner is an awesome player. And for as much as, like, sometimes when I watch Giannis, I'm like, Giannis is the worst, best player I've ever seen in my life. Mitch Marner isn't quite that because he doesn't have like the tippity top end that Giannis has. But Mitch Marner's like that. He is, in everybody's mind, the worst very good player in the NHL or worst awesome player in the NHL. As long as his next contract isn't outrageous, like, I would take that guy on my team, but it's just kind of like a mid-career Phil Kessel situation more than it is, this is the face of the franchise, this is who you're building around.
He's been phenomenally productive. Guy was a first-team All-Star back-to-back years.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of legendary players who never did that. Look, I'll say it. It's the fact that he's getting criticized right now is absolutely fair. The volume of it is over the top. He's become the lightning rod, and it's because Nylander's got his ridiculous new contract, and Matthews isn't going anywhere, and so this is the guy who's going to wear it, and yes, some of that is on him. And hopefully, when he sat down and signed that $11 million deal years ago, that was kind of unprecedented as far as being a second contract for a guy. given where he was at. Hopefully he understood what it came with, and hopefully he understood that this was a potential way that this was all going to go. But yeah, this idea that he's some sort of bum that you trade for Seth Jones, or the idea that you hang up the phone to trade a guy, Clayton Keller, who's a really good player, but is like a 70, 80 point guy, and that you would never even think about flipping him for a 100-point guy. Yeah, I mean, the guy is taking a beating right now. Some of it deserved, some of it not. I will say this. There is not a Leafs fan out there, and I am including the many, many Leafs fans who are absolutely done with Mitch Marner and want to wash their hands of him. There's not a single fan out there that thinks he's going to go to another team and be a bum. Everybody understands that wherever he winds up this offseason, assuming he does go somewhere, he'll light it up for that team. And he'll probably go into the playoffs and win a Conn Smythe at some point. That's just the way it goes when you're a Leafs. They go somewhere else and they turn into Zach Hyman. That's
I was just about to say it. I was like, fuck, man. So, far be it for them to lose another wing that goes someplace and is just fucking incredible. Also,
but you know what? Good for him. If that's what happens, if all you got to decide, whoever's making these decisions for the Leafs in a few weeks, is it going to happen in Toronto? And if not, hey, good luck, local kid. You gave everything you had. It didn't work out. We want it. We hope it works out for you somewhere, preferably in the Western Conference, and we never have to run into you in the playoffs when you're winning those multiple Conn Smythes you're probably going to get.
So you think the series gets extended, though?
Not necessarily, but I do think that everyone who's slamming the casket down, it would be out of character for this Leafs team to go quietly until it was a make or break Game 7. But we'll see. I mean, it's bad right now. It is. I don't think even in all of the various permutations we've seen over the years that I've ever seen a Leafs team getting slammed this bad. I would assume that they can feel that. You try to insulate from it as best you can, but I'm sure they're aware of it. If they just throw up the white flag, it wouldn't shock me. But again, if we're sitting here talking about, wow, it's a Game 7 nobody saw coming, don't say that, because some of us won't be shocked if there's one more twist of the knife in it for us.
Last question from me. Did Auston Matthews take like a cyanide pill or something? What happened?
We would love to know, wouldn't we? I mean, he finally has the Auston Matthews game in the playoffs that we've all been waiting for years and years, in Game 2. Just that game where he's just him and goes, yeah, you know what? I don't think we're going to lose. And I'm the best player on the ice, and I'm just going to... And you're, as a Leafs fan, you're going, oh, finally. Oh, we've been waiting for this. And then, yeah, sure enough, whatever. I don't know if he got the same, I don't know. I can't even think of what can make you sick enough that you can still play, but then you get I've never heard of a player getting pulled from a game for illness. And I'm not trying to joke about it. Obviously, he doesn't have the sniffles here, and there are some things you can run into problems with dehydration or stuff like that. It's no joke if you're getting pulled from the game, and he's not practicing today, so who knows? I don't know, man. Between William Nylander's headaches and Auston Matthews' illness, it's I don't know, maybe the hockey gods are trying to tell us something.
It would be fitting that, like, for all the Leafs players that have shit their pants in the playoffs before, that like it comes to an end with one of the players literally shitting his pants,
literally doing it. Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, famously, there was the Tuukka Rask thing that happened.
Not in the playoffs, before the playoffs.
Yes, essentially a play-in game.
Mm-hmm.
They were better in the third period without him. Could we start that narrative?
There we go. Yeah.
And it goes back to what you said earlier. It's like as soon as the adversity hits, they become a good team.
And I like that.
Sure. I mean, look, if Auston Matthews doesn't play on Tuesday, maybe William Nylander's headaches come back and he does. I mean, everybody in the world will be like, they're going to lose 10-0. That would be the game for them to go out, play 2-1, 15 shots against whoever the goalie is, Joseph Wall or Samsonov or Zamboni driver, whoever it is, it stands on their head. And we're all sitting there going, wow, what is it with this team? I'll tell you what it is. They hate us, and they want to take us on as much of a roller coaster as they can before they finish us off.
Well, they're a very fun team, and everyone's rooting for them, and everyone likes them so much. So we're glad.
Yeah,
you came
lots of
on
spaces on the bandwagon, everybody. Now's the time.
Oh yeah,
Rent's cheap.
Leafs fans should start doing the like. If you don't believe now, we don't want to hear it in a couple of weeks or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and believe me, I'll be back after the Leafs win Game 7. Have me back on next Monday, and I'm gonna just completely renounce everything I've said. I'll pretend I never said it. I will be trashing people like me without any self-awareness whatsoever. I can't wait, frankly.
We'll burn the tape. Don't
Leafs,
worry.
the Leafs fans are chanting, "We want Florida."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes well. All right, Sean. Well, you are the greatest. Thank you so much for joining us. You're a very funny man and a very talented hockey writer and analyst. It's great to talk to you.
Right on. Thanks for having me, boys.
Anytime. And anytime I am watching games now, IDFS is just what I do. It's my pride. I run the bath, I get in, and I just DFS for a little bit.
The man is horny to 10x. I'll tell you that.
I think, you know what would make this hit a little harder? Just 10xing. So let me just get in my bath and 10x. You can play prize picks without getting in the bath, but you could also do it in the bath, depending on if you have your phone there. Your hands get a little wrinkly.
Yeah, but like you got a little one of those like little tray things that goes across the bath. Little tablet or a laptop sitting on that little bath tray.
I'm trying to think of
delicious.
how much my hands actually go in the water when I go in the bath.
You gotta have like a towel at the standby.
Yeah,
At the ready.
Sean, what are your bath habits?
Do you even have a bathtub? in your
Sean's gonna say.
apartment?
I bet Sean says grown ass man in his answer.
No, I'm pro bathing. I think if you're like
I'm
a
pro bathing.
well, like
put it on a
he said it.
Put it on a pro
baths specifically. Like if you're, I'll do this for you. If you're like a grown ass man and you're like that's for women, you're a loser. Like
Yeah,
take
agreed.
a bath. And I think if you're to your hand habits, if you're in the bath at some point, you're going like up to your neck in water. I feel like sometimes you at some point you got to like sink in. You're like,
Oh,
fully
that's the
submerged.
best.
You
So
can be
your
up to
hands
your
will get
neck
a
and
little
like
wrinkly.
shoulders, but have your arms.
No, you have
elevated.
to go like cough in, hands in, sink down, and just water at neck level.
You
at
know
some
the
point.
if I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell people, but there would be
There'd be
signs. I would have a bathroom, and when I say bathroom, that's fucking it.
Just
a
a
room
bath.
with just like fucking probably like 2 or 3 like of the best baths you could get.
I mean, shout out Nickelback, a bathroom so big I can play baseball in it.
True.
Is that Rockstar?
Yeah.
Good song.
Great
Good
song.
music video.
One of my favorite songs as a kid.
A lot of cameos. A lot of stars on there.
Standing in line, the clubs will never get in.
Man, so many stars there. I feel like it's the community plays promos tab with prize picks because I'm seeing everybody there. Oh, they got that person, that's a celebrity, but you're not playing against them. It's just you against the numbers. So if you see Andrew Schultz there, he's not going to shark you. He's just doing his own thing.
Right.
If he's even there. Who knows? Prize Picks got so many celebrities coming and going. You're rubbing elbows virtually with everyone. And most importantly, you are 2xing if you want. You get 5x if you'd like.
I 5x'd a couple times this weekend. I'll tell you what, 5xing twice is not the same as 10xing. I mean, technically it is, but
Only in like one way. It's not really.
It doesn't hit the same.
It depends on if both 5Xs. Not necessarily. Like it could be less.
No, I'm just saying like it just doesn't hit. It hits
Well,
different.
yeah, I agree with you, but
The
it also
10x
is not.
hits different.
Yeah, of course.
Has anybody said Garnett Bathaway in
No,
the?
there was Bath Duchesne, Nickel Bath, Auston Matthews. By the way,
Basin Robertson.
Basin
That's the best
Robertson is
one.
very good.
That's so good.
That's awesome. By the way, if,
David Basternak.
we're doing the hockey pun names on our Instagram now. So head to our Instagram, What Chaos Show, and just leave themed hockey names in there, depending on the post.
Yes, and continue to comment on our YouTube videos that the hosts are very knowledgeable about whatever. I saw someone found my video of me explaining why the Whopper song is so catchy and commented, the host was very knowledgeable about burgers, which is not something that's super common for a sports podcast like this.
Nice.
Man. So Schultz, Pete, DJ, those are the types of big names you're finding on Prize Picks. And I didn't 10X at all this weekend. I still DFS a little bit, but I didn't 10X. So I'm going to keep that up on Prize Picks because I am always chasing it. I love the clean layout of the website. If you want to find certain people for certain games, there's that search thing. You just type in NYR, bam, there's all the Rangers. Go to prizepicks.com/whatchaos and use code whatchaos for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/whatchaos and use code whatchaos. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Today's episode also brought to you by our friends at AG1. During the playoffs, we've documented it. It is very difficult to stay on top of your health. I've started doing the thing that you're doing, which is buying berries and shit like that to snack on during games. Because things can spiral and get way out of control in terms of the eating habits during the playoffs.
I got out of control this weekend. It's over for me. I'm fucked.
I'm out of control at all times.
I've introduced berries into my pickies, but I've also started doing my AG1 every morning again, and it's very, very smart and very, very easy. Just one scoop into water, shake it up, you're good. And it gives you a little bit more energy, gives you the nutrients that you need, takes care of your gut.
Rubber Duck.
Wait, what?
Like Alex Tuck.
Rubber.
Oh, God. Nice. It takes care of your gut health. And it's just like a good way to stay on top of taking care of yourself. AG1 is the supplement I trust to provide the support my body needs daily. And that's why I'm excited to welcome them in as a partner to the show. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/whatchaos. That's drinkag1.com/whatchaos. Check it out.
We don't have a Boosh bath bomb, but we do have from Sean, Logan Stankoff.
Nice.
Thank you.
Jacob Truebath. Yeah, okay, so we're all on board with baths here. On our YouTube, if you're not subscribed, by the way, youtube.com/whatchaos show, executive decision. Let's start posting some of our let's make a ad read section. And I don't know if you guys need something to fall asleep to. You could have like a 10-minute There Will Be what was the There Will Be Blood read the other day? Was it Game Time?
It was Manscaped. Keep our ad read straight.
Yeah, it was Manscaped. Yeah, There Will Be Blood Manscaped ad. This could be AG1 and Prize Picks bath ad reads.
I feel like listening to our ad reads is like a microcosm of what happens when I listen to podcasts when I go to sleep, where it's like you start when they're talking about something and you understand what they're talking about, and then you wake up and it's two completely different people talking about something completely different because you're 5 different podcasts deep. You're like, what the fuck's going on here?
I fell asleep listening to podcasts and woke up to it gave me some chiclets.
Really? I wake up to like your guys' voice more often than
That's
like.
because we sleep together.
Yes.
Yes, we're very loud when we're talking.
Sean and I are
you're still asleep. It's the real Willy Wonka situation. We all sleep in the same bed, head to toe.
Yes.
Oh my God! Don't get me started on those fucking fakers.
Those
only one of them's a faker.
There's some money to be had. Let me
only one of them is a
bitch.
faker. Like don't put that on all of them because all the other old people were probably pissed off too. Be like, what the fuck is this?
You know, those like that tweet trend that's like, I know it smells crazy in there.
Yeah,
that's I know.
Oh
it
my
smells
God,
crazy. In
that
there.
one, that is the textbook. Like, you don't smell anything in there because you spent so much time in there that it just smells normal.
It smells normal to them, but somebody comes in from the outside and they're like, whoa, absolutely not.
That's my biggest fear as a cat owner in a studio apartment.
Doesn't Willy Wonka go to their place and like see them sleep, all 4 of them sleeping in the bed?
So I think Charlie
no.
comes home
Willie's
with
not showing up there.
Yeah, Charlie
Willie's not
comes home
unveiled until they get there. He rolls out.
I thought he does show up.
No,
there
Charlie
at
comes
some
up
point.
with the ticket. Maybe at the end of the movie.
I think maybe at the end of the movie.
No, I think they go back because Wonka's like gone at the end of the movie.
Yo, yeah,
he gives away
said
the
good
chocolate
day,
factor.
sir.
Yeah.
No,
but good day, sir.
He's revealed because no one has seen him before, and he comes out and he's got a cane and he's limping, and then he's like,
"No, I do know that.
Fuck that! I'm insensitive to people with disabilities," and then does a fucking somersault.
Yeah,
that guy's. I'll tell you what, Wonka's behavior not always good. Kills a lot of kids.
More often, I would say it's bad.
Yeah, I would
bad.
say it's not.
I think it's a little.
It's not always bad.
It's Jeff Bezos. It's like keep producing that candy, and I won't ask too many questions. But if I start asking questions, I don't think I'm going to like the answer.
Let's quickly discuss some behavior. Does TNT have a Shaq Hyman problem? Because on Saturday, they rolled out Shaq. He crashes the set. It's amazing. It's hilarious. They keep doing the Shaq Hyman thing, which I hate to give credit where it's due. Shaq Hyman is a Sheldon Keefe coined thing.
Yep,
So,
it is.
But look at Shaq. He's gliding. It's amazing. I don't get why he thinks that's how hockey looks, but
He's trying to skate.
It's very adorable. It's not what it looks like. You don't do that in front of the net. Super weird. He came back on Sunday, and I was like, enough, Shaq. It was like in that Batman movie where the Robert Pattinson Batman movie where he's just showing up to the police station all the time. And by the time it's like a third of the way into the movie, the cops are like, hi, Batman. Batman's here again. It's like, you're fucking Batman. You're Shaq. You're so fucking cool. And make him beg for it.
I know. And I'm pretty sure that he's doing it unannounced. Like, they're not asking him to come in. He's doing it unannounced because I think in both times he wasn't mic'd up. So he didn't say anything. He just like stared menacingly at the camera and did like his fake skating thing without really saying anything.
In fairness, that's what he does on the NBA on TNT. He doesn't really say anything. He just looks there. And
he tosses to Chuck, and then he lets Chuck say something ridiculous, and then Shaq just laughs.
And then Shaq's like, yeah, it's because you're a fat loser.
It's the best. Shout out to Galveston, Texas, getting absolutely
oh my god,
nuked over the
stray
weekend.
of all strays.
I didn't see that. Was it related to any of the...
He said I wouldn't send him to Cancun. I'd send him to Galveston.
Talking about the Pelicans.
Terrible ass beaches. You think that it's a beach, but it's really... And he's just killing them. Then he apologized.
He said the water looks like chocolate milk or something.
Yeah, then he apologized the next day, and he was like, Beyonce's mom is from Galveston. I apologize. I don't want any smoke. And then went on to say, but I'm still sending them to Galveston where it's gross and like did it again.
I mean, he famously asked Chuck about his opinions on San Antonio. And the women, like, they don't give a shit. They'll just start talking.
That man hates the parts of Texas that are not like Dallas and Austin.
Oh, no, I don't think he hates it. Like, he loves San Antonio.
Houston.
He just has opinions on the women there.
That's true.
Because he talks about how good the churros are.
The churros?
Yeah. San Antonio, one of the coolest cities I've ever been to.
I mean, if you fuck up a churro, you stink.
Nah, but like real churros are not like churros that most Americans know about.
Damn.
So like they're like legit down there. Listen, more cities need to just build canals in the middle of it. Just build this tiny little river in the middle of your city. It's cool as shit.
Do we agree though? A little. I want to pull back the Shaq a little bit.
Yeah, I want it to really hit every time we see Shaq. And then like on Sunday, I was like, oh, he's doing this again. He just did the same thing on Sunday. So either you gotta keep the number low, like the appearance is rare, or you gotta make it different every time. Can't go back to the same well twice in 1 week.
I love his weird attempt at skating, and I want someone to celebrate a goal that way. Can we get the Red Wings back in the play now that we don't have any bad teams left? Can we?
We still got bad teams
Wings
left. The Islanders are still in it.
Yeah, that's true. Bring in the Red Wings. I need Jake Ballman to hit the Shaq gliding goal celebration. Be terrific.
Another behavior topic from the weekend is at yesterday's Kings game. There was this guy at the game in the 69 Suck Me Off jersey. Behavior? Well, I think it's fitting because the Kings are about to get sucked off.
I think that this is not my type of humor. I'm on board with this.
Okay.
I think
that's the most shocking thing I've ever heard.
No, because it's so outrageous. It's the craziest thing. And I've seen different, like, people have, like, the name say boobs, and then it's like 69. And it's like, all right, so this is a person who has never seen boobs before, and they're obsessed with them. And as long as they're not hurting anybody, I hope that nobody's offended by seeing that. If it's hurting anyone's feelings, then I have a different opinion of it. But that's so outrageous.
It's ridiculous.
That's so, like, what if you got a jersey that said, like, I love video games on the back? They'd be like, well, fucking focus, man. That's a hockey jersey.
I know. The best part about that to me, though, is that, like, this guy got that jersey for attention and was in the back of that shot not looking for attention. He was just at their fucking concession stands and happened to be at the concession that was right behind the TV thing. Just, like, such weird behavior. But I will say I love the I love boobs guy.
I'll tell you what. We don't want to get insensitive here. Someone in the chat said it's always a fat guy. Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
That
It
is
is.
true. That is true.
I hate this. Like the worst behavior to me. It's just the lamest middle-aged dude shit ever. Like, yeah, it's the same as the multiple people in the chat said it. The RU18 jersey. It's just like
That's
man.
that's
all right,
no
man.
good.
I've
That's
never
no good.
Cool,
That's problematic.
Yeah,
No,
I mean this isn't necessarily problematic. It's just like a
It's just
cool,
why are you so
bro.
horny?
Sex joke.
Has
Awesome.
anyone ever been like, man, you see that really tall woman that was wearing the jersey that said "I love boobs" and it was 69,420. That was a crazy jersey that she was wearing. You see a lot of women at hockey games, short ones, tall ones, all kinds. Never seen a novelty jersey on them. It's always a guy, and it's always like
a guy. I just don't think I've ever been in the situation where I was like, you know what I could use? I love hockey and I love sex. Need a jersey that combines the both of them.
I just can't imagine spending like $200 on a jersey to make a sex joke on the back of it. Like custom jerseys are not cheap.
No.
Or maybe you got it for like a knockoff type.
I was gonna say it's poor craftsmanship. I could tell you right now, if I go like this on the back of that jersey, shit's peeling.
Well,
Look at that.
I mean, you can't get that from like the NHL store. They're not fulfilling that.
Oh yeah, they are. I bet.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
Suck me off 69.
It
I bet
depends.
the NHL store does not do that.
I feel like it's like license plates where it ultimately comes down to like someone recognizing that is like if you're
What
like
it is.
I like that is a joke. Like if you're just like flying through names and like approving them, you might just be like, okay, another Russian name. Move on. Like you might not
I
even
feel like
notice.
anything that has the number 69 probably gets flagged.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah, they have one person who's hired just to look at the 69 one.
The
Yeah,
69 thing.
There's a separate department in quality control. It's just the 69 department.
Yeah.
Why
for sure.
don't you know what? If I were an NHL player, when I'm an NHL player, I'm gonna wear 69 just to fucking take it off the board. Just to say like, all right, we're gonna have a little bit of professionalism here because 69, you can't get a 69 jersey. It's already fucking taken, and you're gonna have to make different jokes.
This is maybe a stupid question, but did players get like a percentage of their jersey sales?
believe so. They get like a cut
Yeah.
because I know in the NFL, if you change your number, you have to like
pay
buy.
back.
Yeah, you have to
jerseys.
buy the jerseys.
I'm pretty sure you.
Yeah, that I would assume that's probably the case. Like, if you're a player, wouldn't you just choose 69 because, like, a bunch of bozos are going to buy the jersey because they think it's funny?
That's what I was gonna say.
Cole Strange knew what he was doing.
Like
yeah.
you have to get a cut. That's part of the
Strange
thing with like
69.
college basketball, college sports. They're always like they're selling their jerseys, but they're not getting money for it like the pros do.
Yeah.
I got a new jersey. Look at me, the devil I am.
Oh.
I got a new jersey. Got another Oilers jersey.
Oh, I didn't even realize that when you brought.
Oh, yeah.
it
I
up.
didn't realize that was new.
Yep.
Is it?
Is that the first, like, regular
That's
primary home?
That is the first time in my lengthy Oilers fandom that I've just straight up bought a normal Oilers jersey.
Is it a blank?
That is a blank
Oh, yeah.
home. I'm considering sending it out to get Stu on the back.
Okay, that's what I was
But
gonna ask if there was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
if I get that customized, I need to have a fucking Draisaitl jersey. Like Draisaitl was always the fucking guy for
I know.
all of my
we
Oilers
need to get
shit.
we need to get like matching Team Germany jerseys of Draisaitl and JJ Peterka.
Oh my god, that would
even
be
know.
Yeah.
I'm like generally speaking, I'm pretty anti having jerseys of players.
Germany? Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
That's, I was going to say that's probably fair.
No, I'm anti having like players jerseys they didn't actually wear, and like Leon and
That's why I was
think they've
going for
actually
the Tage All-Star Game jersey. I wanted like the novelty of it. Like it's a Tage All-Star Game jersey. You never actually played in the game.
that's different.
I just want you to have as much Tage stuff as your little heart desires.
Me too. I would like some playoff Tage at some point. But
Well, that jersey, if I do get it customized right now, it'll be tough to not get Stu Skinner because boy, oh boy, those idiots really let me get him Conn Smythe plus 10,000. Woo-hoo-hoo, boy, what a bunch of idiots. You know what his odds are right now?
no.
Plus,
I think they're like plus 5,000.
I was gonna say,
Still not
yeah.
amazing, but
I mean, if the Oilers are winning the cup, it's probably not Stu Skinner getting Conn Smythe.
First shutout of the playoffs is recorded by Stu Skinner. I double-checked it. No other goalies, not even Connor Hellebuck, has a shutout so far.
You want to know why?
yeah, he's getting fucking
I got some
pilloried.
news for you, buddy. Hope you're sitting down.
If you went into a coma at the beginning of the playoffs and then came out of it now, people would be like,
That was a quick coma. Right? Nice coma. Where's the rest
Yeah,
of it?
you get
Fucking
like
faker.
a couple day comas.
Yeah.
Not every
nap,
coma's
bro.
for
Yeah.
months.
Can you get back in there a little longer so we could feel bad for you? Anyway, you come out of it. How are the goalies doing? Connor Hellebuck getting pilloried.
Trash.
Stu Skinner, really, really good. What about the Bruins goalies? What do you mean Bruins goalies? They only have one
Multiple,
goalie.
yeah, right.
They're playing both goalies, right? What kind of dumbass coma were you in, man? They only got one guy. What are you talking about? It's been a weird situation. Oh, and also, who's the best goalie? Alex Georgiev. What's wrong with this person?
Well, I mean, that one wouldn't be as surprising as anybody who was awake for the start of the playoffs, because like game one of the Avs series.
Worst.
What?
Georgiev was terrible.
Right, that's
in
what I'm
game
saying.
one.
Like, it would be more surprising for anybody who was awake for that game. But yeah, I mean, Stu Skinner, man, I told you this was the game that I needed to see the Oilers win to be like, all right, the Oilers are fucking here and they are to be taken seriously. The Oilers winning a 1-0 game against the Los Angeles Kings to take a 3-1 series lead is exactly what I needed to see from the Oilers.
The Kings were awesome in this game. Stu Skinner was awesome in this game. The Oilers only had 13 shots on goal in this
Fucking
game,
crazy.
which continues a crazy-ass trend of teams not putting pucks on net and winning. The Canucks in game 3, 12 shots on goal, beat the Predators. That's going around apparently. Predators in game 2, 16 shots on goal. So are shots falling out of fashion? Connor McDavid said earlier, or a few weeks ago, yeah, they are. Shooters, don't shoot. Just fucking play a good game and win. Stu Skinner was awesome in this game. This was the Kings' best and biggest shot. You're right. We've now seen the Oilers win a close game in which they were generally outplayed. Going into last night's game, I crunched some numbers for this.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think this postseason had the largest margin of victory?
This postseason had the largest margin of victory. There was like a
I feel like we've gotten a 5-1 game at one point.
6-2 game at some point. Is it the Bruins?
It is, or it was, by far the Oilers. They were winning by
of course.
They were winning by 4
Yeah.
goals a game. The Avalanche were, they were at 3.6. Bruins.
Oh, you're saying average margin of victory?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I thought you meant like the biggest, biggest gap. Yeah.
Oh no! Sorry. Knights winning by 2 goals a game. Hurricanes. The Hurricanes are the funny one because all those games are close. Like the Hurricanes obviously came back to win game 2 and everything. But I say that to say the Oilers were getting their wins by fucking steamrolling the Kings, getting on the power play, scoring 1 million goals. And how did they win last night in a game in which there was only 2 power plays the entire game? They fucking lean on their guy. And even Leon Draisaitl coming up clutch, winning a big face-off at the end against Anze Kopitar. Kopitar had beat him a couple minutes earlier on a huge draw in the Oilers zone. Blocking shots, but Skinner, the story of it, amazing. Oilers, by the way, this postseason, 11 for 11 on the penalty kill. So for as much as it's the McDavid, it's the Hyman, it's the Draisaitl, even Evander Kane has gotten going, Evan Bouchard, fucking Adam Henrique has been really good. They're finding out, and I don't know if they want to try to do this all the time, they can win a low-scoring game.
Yeah.
Cup me, daddy.
Well, I mean, that's the mark of a team that can go deep in playoffs is the team that can win a game that looks very different from one game to the next. Like, you got to be able to win games in multiple fashions. Looking at the box score from last night, fucking crazy. No player on the Oilers had more than 2 shots in that game.
Evander Kane.
Yeah, Evander Kane, Leon Draisaitl, and Evan Bouchard all had 2 shots apiece, but everybody else had 1. Like McDavid 1, Hyman 1, and then like defensemen like Ekholm, Nurse, guys just throwing shit from the point. damn, like that's unbelievable that they were able to survive and win that game. Even like halfway through the game, I saw that McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman combined for one shot through the first 30 minutes of the game. Insane that they win that game.
The Kings played, I thought, a perfect game last night. They've already made a goalie change. Is the series over?
Yeah.
It's very over because and that this is like a respectable exit for the Kings because they did nothing wrong last night.
That's kind of like what these series typically feel like, where it's a good series, but like at the end of the day, everybody knows the Oilers are better.
Right. And I do have to tip my cap to both these teams. I tweeted it during the game. It took 4 games for that series to feature a playoff game.
Yeah.
That was the first time that it wasn't like, even game 2, Kings go up 2-0, Oilers storm. That's some regular season Oilers shit. And then they go to overtime and lose. Get that shit in regular season all the time. This was the first, and I think it was the best game of the postseason so far, entire NHL. But they both fucking grinded out. And the guy about whom a lot of people had questions, I didn't really. This man, Stu Skinner, massive. He's now played 1 bad game, game 2. Mm-hmm. And I would say 3 good games, one of which was incredible. Loving my Oilers right now.
This may sound like a dumb question, but are you worried about the Oilers' power play? Because it's going extremely well right now, over 50%. Like, so that's obviously unsustainable, but
no, the only thing
I think they're leaning on it too much.
The only thing I'm worried about is them not getting on the power play a lot, because whoever they play next, which will be Vancouver probably, is going to do what the Kings have been doing of late, which is like, just let them fucking do their thing. Don't touch them. Don't get on the power. Don't let them get on the power play, because if so, it's going to be Bouchard, it's going to be Draisaitl, or it's going to be Hyman, but it's going to be in the back of the net. So I'm worried that they're not going to get on the power play as much as they did early in the series, especially game 1, by the time the next series rolls around. But right now, I'm not worried about much with the Oilers. Also, they I would say, if we're doing like which teams look the best, power rankings, are they at the top? It's them, it's Colorado, it's New York, but New York doesn't really count.
Even like Carolina's looked pretty good.
Bruins looked great last game.
Yeah, but they have their ups and downs. I mean, it's worth pointing out too that the Kings had the second best penalty kill in the league during the regular season, and the Oilers are fucking torching them.
Nothing you could do against it.
Do have to talk about. Are you good with the Oilers?
Yeah, I was gonna say that before we get out of here.
We have to talk about
better.
We have to talk about that.
The Predators are assholes, but they deserve better.
I mean, they deserve better in that, like, looking at it from what you've seen from the eye test, like, they shouldn't be down in that series 3-1. But like, you got to put the puck in the empty net. Like, they had an opportunity to pull even in that series. They played a great game. That's the difference between good teams and great teams. Like, you got to be able to finish that game off.
They have played well enough to, at the very least, be tied in this series. Yeah. And Sissons hitting the post there encapsulates how the fuck is this a 3-1 series right now? You're playing a team that is on their 3rd goalie, and you are right there with them every single game. I looked this up, and I just, when you look up a stat that you fucking know is going to be something, and you're fucking right. Corsi for percentage, which is just a general possession thing. It generally tells you who has the puck.
Shot share. Attempt share, sorry.
Yes. Canucks, 50.7%. Predators, 49.3%. It's the same fucking picture. And the fucking Predators blow that game last night. They allow 3 goals in 4 minutes, including right at the beginning of overtime. I feel horrible for them, but when Sissons hits the post there, you can't really feel horrible for them because there's a bad guy. You could point and say, it's that fucking guy's problem.
Yeah, I feel bad for that guy. He probably had a real rough night. But I'm still like, I'm not counting out the Preds in the series just based off of like how good they've looked, how tough of a time they've given Vancouver. And when you look at the Canucks and the state of that team right now, yeah, they're on their 3rd goalie. Depends what happens with DeSmith. We don't really know. But like if Sheeloffs is still the guy and you're moving forward and the Canucks are banged up, like Quinn Hughes got real. He looked like he was really struggling and laboring through that game. And even when they scored the game tying goal, you could see him. He barely celebrated. That guy was in dire straits, and the Preds really started pushing once Hughes looked off. So I think the Preds still have a chance in the series. I do agree that they probably deserve better than like a 3-1 deficit right now. But it is what it is. You got to give credit to Vancouver too.
Who do you start in Game 5 of the Jets Avalanche series? Because Connor Hellebuck was yanked in Game 4. I am perilously close to bingo, by the way. But Connor Hellebuck, we were talking on the stream. I had to look up the other day, like, who even is the other goalie for the fucking Jets? And it's Brossoit, who is pretty good. Do not fucking subject Connor Hellebuck to Game 5 of this series.
Oh, no way. I disagree. You got to play Hellebuck.
You
have the Vezina. You're going to have the Vezina winning goalie. You have to play him.
He is getting it's a
this is
split
not
of do it
this
for
is not
his
a
sake.
Jeremy Swayman, Linus Ullmark. Like, no disrespect to Laurent Brossoit, very good goaltender. But if you have Connor Hellebuck on your team, the only way that you are going to win that series down 3-1 is if Connor Hellebuck finds his game. You're not coming back from a 3-1 series deficit with Laurent Brossoit in net.
Why did Patrick Waugh want out of Montreal?
Because he got fucking hammered in one game.
Because they wouldn't fucking take him out when he was getting lit the fuck up.
But there's no way that Connor Hellebuck wants to be taken out of a playoff series. Zero chance.
That's fair. He probably wants it. But just for everybody's sake, you're going to lose this series. You're not coming back. Fucking just
you can't have
don't let him have
you can't
another
have that
bad
mentality.
night.
Like you have to play. There's 0.00% chance in my mind, or 0% like reason in my mind to play Brossoit over Hellebuck.
I just told you the reason. The reason is you don't want the guy to get lit up a million times in a row. You might not like that reason.
He
but
has a whole
that would
fucking
be the
summer
reason
to get over it. Like it's way worse for Connor Hellebuck's mentality to be on the bench as his team's season ends in a Vezina season than for him to get lit up in the decisive game.
I mean, the Bruins literally benched the Vezina winner in Game 7 last year.
I understand, but like that's a different situation. You have
There's more.
You have a 1A, 1B in Boston,
and I don't think it's a slam dunk that like you have to, but I would. I would do that if I were the Canucks, just to fucking save him from the shit that he's. It'd be one thing like if he's getting lit up, but he's playing really well. He's been fine, and he's been getting lit up every single game.
He's been getting lit up, yeah, that's for sure. And you know, I would understand playing Brossoit, and I understand why they put Brossoit in for the third period is to maybe light a spark and to give Hellebuck some mercy. You can do that in a game, like in the middle of a game. I wouldn't do it for like when you're on the brink of elimination.
It also could wake your team the fuck up to tell them like, look what you fucking did.
Mm-hmm.
Now you don't get your only good player. I know he's
that's the only way that that's the only way that you're getting through with me on that sort of objective. Protecting Connor Hellebuck's feelings is not the way to do it.
This is a feelings podcast. I want everybody to be happy. I want Connor, you are listening. I want you to feel happy. Pete doesn't. Pete says he hopes you continue to get
I want Connor
pilloried.
Hellebuck to feel happy. And I said this, I think, in a text to this, is like, I need Connor Hellebuck to look good before the series is over. For a guy to have as good a season as he did and to be, I don't want to say that he's been dog shit, but he has not been Connor Hellebuck. For him to go the entire series not looking like Connor Hellebuck would be demoralizing and would be tough to stomach. I want to see him look good at least once before the series ends.
Let's get to a Slate Grade presented by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHAOS for $20 off your first purchase. There are 2 games this evening at 7 p.m. U.S. The Lightning will visit the Panthers. I'm sorry, the Panthers will visit the... No, it's Game 5. Lightning at Panthers, Game 5. The Panthers lead this series 3-1, 9:30 p.m. U.S. Golden Knights at Stars, Game 4. Golden Knights lead this series 2-1. Don't even need to discuss structure. This is the easiest A- of my life. I really like this Vegas Dallas series, I think that the Florida series is generally over-ish. But tonight, we can see the road team win the first 4 games of a series.
That's true.
Which
That
could
is on your bingo card.
help people on their bingo cards.
That's right. Yeah.
Bad slate.
I guess I would agree with the A-, but I'm kind of a fan of no overlapping games. 2 games kind of stings, especially after the weekend where you were really they were generous this weekend. 4 games apiece, Saturday and Sunday. Very much enjoyed that. Yeah, no overlapping games though, and 2 games that I am really interested in. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I got to say, this week I've been looking at the schedule, and I know that a lot will be some if necessary. We could have an amazing, say, Wednesday, but you're not getting a lot of nights this week where you're like, oh my God, because a lot of them are like Eastern Conference series that for all intents and purposes are already kind of settled, that you're like, okay, I guess I'll have that on second screen kind of thing.
Also, this weekend on Saturday, there are 4 potential Game 7s scheduled for Saturday. I don't even know if we're going to get a single game on Saturday because the 4 Game 7s that would take place on Saturday are Toronto, Boston, Tampa, Florida, New York, Carolina, Colorado, Winnipeg. If
you get any of those, what would you want it to be?
I think the most likely is Toronto, Boston.
Yeah, Sean talked us into it.
Yeah, he didn't talk me into it. Like, I was already kind of there. I've been there. I kind of wanted to have the discussion today. Is like, how many games do you think this goes? Do you think the Bruins wrap it up quickly? I said from the beginning, it's inevitable that the series goes 7 games. I'm still not moving off of that. Like, I could easily see Toronto winning the next 2 games.
Would you start Linus Ullmark in Game 5?
I don't care.
I don't either. But now, like, I
don't
feel
want to
like
have the conversation after every fucking game, especially when we've been wrong every time. Like, it doesn't matter at this point. Whoever they put in net is probably going to be good and probably going to be good enough. Swayman is much better right now.
It would be malpractice
to go
in the postseason to not start a hot goalie who has won 6 games in a row against that team.
That's fair.
And they fucked up. They went away from the plan. So now they can no longer blame the plan. It could have been so easy. Just alternate and then say, what can we do? We're all looking for the guy who did this. It's the plan. It's the fucking plan's fault. And now you're going to basically do away with this rotation because I think you have to go Swayman for Game 5. And Ullmark's saying, what'd they say rotate me for?
Was it? I think it was. We listened to Felger last week where they were talking. Is there any concern about having so much time in between Ullmark starts?
So that's what I'm.
Yeah. That was. I said that last week too.
Okay?
I said they have to send him on a conditioning load.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if Swayman's playing as well as he is, then like, I do agree in part that like it's malpractice when you've got a goalie who is goalieing the fuck out of a team to go away from him.
So if you win this series, do you maybe you tell him, okay, Swayman?
I think you
goes,
reset. I think you reset and approach it the same way that you approach this series. Swayman Game 1, Ullmark Game 2. We'll go from there.
I think I'd go Ullmark Game 1 of the next series just to give him a little like, hey man, we didn't forget about you.
Yeah, fair.
We didn't forget about you. Don't forget about us. Make sure you are
Don't
subscribed.
I
forgot to remind you.
Don't forget about the unboxing.
Oh, well, do a like spike.
Like spike time.
As he's doing like spike, could you play Steve Dangle, Sean?
I can't.
No,
I can't.
Not really.
Yeah, no.
He needs to do like spike.
I need the audio.
Okay, do it.
Do Dangle or the like spike?
No, Pete, go ahead.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hit the like button. Thumbs up right below the video player. Just hammer that thumbs up. Also, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that as well. We have been growing in numbers a little bit recently. Want to keep that momentum going. Subscribe to the channel.
Instagram,
tell everybody
Twitter.
you know. Yeah, Instagram, Twitter. Community's been great.
Join our
Discord channel is fucking popping off. So if you're not on Discord, please join our Discord. It's a lot of fun. Community's been amazing.
The bingo section of the Discord has been very helpful.
Yeah.
So if you want to see what your bingo card has, everybody is documenting certain cases of like, oh, a number 20 scored in this game, or there were stitches in this game. So bingo.
A lot of cool stuff happened over the weekend that
we got a
checked
lot of
bingo
good stuff.
cards. We had like what do we have on the broadcast?
We had
Hot Mike.
We had Hot Mike.
Football
we had
players drinking.
Football players
chugging.
We had the brother embrace at the end of Rangers
true.
Capitals. We had double OT over the weekend.
Yep.
We had a lot.
Now we've got an opportunity if road team wins the first 4.
Yep.
We got a sweep over the weekend.
Yep.
Nice.
Give us Dangle.
Can I show you Ilya Samsonov?
That is.
As somebody who never knows how to break down goaltending, that is a perfect breakdown.
He
for me.
is fucking getting insane numbers, and it's all from a bunch of pervs who just want to see him miserable.
It's the best.
And I'm one of them.
One of my favorite phrases I said all the time when I was in Arizona is sex sells, hate sells better. Like, people love anger and pain.
If it bleeds, it leads.
Nothing better.
If it bleeds, it leads. That's the number one rule of journalism. And Steve Dangle is bleeding internally and externally at this point. All right, what do we got in the
This
box?
is from our friend Ben, Genius Jackets, Sports Stitches. If you've ever seen some of the jackets he's made, they are incredible. He makes people custom sports jackets, and he also makes these. He brings back the vintage jerseys, fixes them all up. I'm almost positive I know what this is, and this is like the whitest white whale jersey I can.
Sean's gonna love it.
Do you know what it is, Sean?
No.
This is going to knock your socks off, and I think our friend Ryan Lambert is going to be very upset that we own this. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh my goodness. This is the best jersey I co-own already.
Oh man, yeah, no, I know.
Shared ownership.
This
podcast
is a
ownership.
Zdeno Chara Lowell Lock Monsters jersey.
That's fucking beautiful.
It's so good.
Wow.
Look at that font.
That is.
Look at the name font.
Dude,
that's crazy.
Sports teams are so boring now.
That is psychotic behavior to do that font on the names.
That is so amazing.
The bookending the last name with like oversized font is
That
wild.
Gives
And look
such
at
indoor lacrosse energy or like arena football energy.
Ben cuts and stitches all this shit. I have friends, I think Jeff has done this, where like he'll get a blank Bruins jersey and he'll bring it to Ben to do, because no offense to the machines or whatever selling them in the pro shop or online or something, Ben is getting in there and making it fucking perfect. I have a UNH blank jersey that I've been considering giving to him for JVR. Ben, thank you so much. Everybody, we will tag Sports Stitches and Genius Jackets. We all have so many friends who have used Ben for amazing projects, and we're very grateful.
Including the Bruins
sent us
Wags.
this.
He is responsible for the Bruins Wag
Of
jackets.
course. Last thing we'll say then, horrible behavior by the Vegas Golden Knights.
We forgot to throw that into the show. But
So bad. They just literally cut squares around the parts of the jersey and put it on a vest.
the way that I described it is that it looks like clip art. It looks like you go into Microsoft Paint or whatever it is, and you just do like a square, cut, paste, and that's how they made their jackets. Sean, do we have them? He's working on it. Okay.
If my partner showed up to one of my events wearing that, quote unquote, in support of me, they would no longer be my partner.
I don't know if I'd break up with somebody over it, but I saw a lot of people saying that they liked them too. And I know that fashion is subjective, but I mean, when you look at some of the other WAG jackets that have been created around the league, this to me is like very bottom rung.
They look completely eyeballed. They're inconsistent. I'm seeing already, look at the mantha, the crest and the nameplate are not aligned. They're at different angles, and the crest is a little further over to the right than the nameplate. So bad.
Just simply do not need the NHL logo on the front. Wildly unnecessary.
Yeah.
No, these are just very like the worst part to me is the collar detail that they clearly just like cut out of the collar of the jersey and then like glued it to the back of the jacket.
Is there any way for you to be able to zoom in on like the 3? Okay, so look at the 3. They didn't cut out the number.
This was so rushed.
Yeah,
It's
they
crazy.
God.
They didn't
Look at
cut
this is
out.
what I was talking about. With
That is the most bootleg shit I've ever seen.
the always advance, never retreat thing right here. Like that was quite clearly just someone took scissors, cut out, and look at the stitching on the sleeves right here. Like These look like they were rushed and done by somebody who is not usually doing this kind of thing. Like they do it as a hobby. Not
Terrible.
Like a lot of
Yeah,
the other ones.
that's tough. And the worst part is that I really, really like the base of the jacket, like with the striping
I
for
agree.
the team jerseys. I think that's a really, really cool touch. It's just everything around it looks so fucking sloppily thrown together.
There is something here. It just did not work out well.
That ain't it, Chief. All right. We will talk to you tomorrow. We got a huge, very busy week. Lots more guests. Appreciate everybody who's been coming on the last couple of weeks. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks to Sean McIndoe today. We will be back with you tomorrow. Enjoy the hockey. Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.